to the Generation Gap podcast. I'm Lunchbox.
I'm Gleek.
And we're a week late.
Technical difficulties, folks.
Oh,
Technical
Jesus.
difficulties.
We had the episode last weekend that we did with Sick Nasty.
Yeah, which was a great fucking episode.
It was a good 3-hour, sit-down talk where we touched upon a bunch of different subjects, went back, reminisced, caught up.
Yeah.
Learned about each other.
Acting damn fools.
Having fun and doing other good shit. And then, with our setup,
it went to shit.
Total fucking garbage.
Well, the best way to describe it was, like I said, almost 3 hours of an electronic ball bearing going out. And it got louder and louder and louder. I spent 7+ hours trying to clean it up. Wasn't fucking happening.
Then I get the email
yeah.
the next day, which is like, dude, this is unsalvageable.
Yeah, I was butthurt. Fucking butthurt. Yeah.
So, my response is, need a mixer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what the cost is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, we got the mixer within like 2 days. It's just now we're not using it right now because we still got to wait for one fucking plug to come in the mail.
One plug.
One fucking plug.
And then I figure like we can get your nephew's staying with you this summer, right?
Hmm?
Your nephew is staying with you?
Kind of off and on. He
Okay.
stayed for a few days the other day and went back home. When we all got sick as shit, he was like, when we got sick, he's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. I'd have hit the fucking eject button myself,
I'm figuring that we could use him as a test lab rat for our next guest pod that we have before we get Sick Nasty back on.
I've had a few ideas for him on the show. So it's for the generation gap. I represent, obviously, the old geezer bastard, I guess. And you represent the young guy. He would give the test tube baby new version.
The part 2 electric boogaloo of test tube babies.
Yeah.
Since I'm like the college age or just coming out of college age guy. And
yeah. And I'm the old enough to be your daddy age. I mean, I figure at some point we need to. I'd like to ask his opinion on a few things.
Yeah.
Especially there's a few movies, few games. Each one of us would probably give a different opinion.
Oh yeah. Because I have a very love-hate relationship with some of the games that he's into right now. And
like Call of Duty?
Yeah.
I can't stand Call of Duty.
That's the main one. Well, I'll explain onto it further, but the only Call of Duty game that I own for any game console is the last World War II one.
Yeah.
World at War.
Yeah, back when it was still a good game.
Because I like World War II, and goddammit, I want to shoot some Nazis in the face.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not interested in this new corporate mercenary, New World Order horse shit, and that's really what it's going to.
I don't really care about the storyline. I'm not.
Press X to continue mourning your fucking friend.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm not a fan of the Call of Duty games have just now become like, or you can fucking play the single player campaign, or you can just do like what everyone else does and play single multiplayer.
Yeah.
Which Battlefield, that's what I liked about Battlefield 2. It was very, cut and fucking dry. Here's the multiplayer.
Yeah.
That's it. And I had a lot of fucking fun with the multiplayer.
Oh, I can see where you would.
When they tried, they actually implemented a story like in the later ones, which was decent. I mean, you had Bad Company 2, which is my second favorite Battlefield game, where it's like a ragtag group of like military guys. It has like touches of the A-Team in it.
Yeah.
It's like the comedy was kind of like there. There's like the dumb one and like the gun crazy one.
Yeah.
And you were the guy that just was like, here you go, sucker, you fucking shoot him. Like, you're going to use the sniper rifle for the first time. Here you go. Instead of, the fucking gun crazy guy. And
well, I guess, put it in older terms, it's Kelly's Heroes.
Instead of Hogan's Heroes?
Oh, my, yeah. Fuck, we're just cutting that whole section.
I don't know who Kelly's heroes are.
You never seen Kelly's Heroes?
No.
You've never, ever, ever seen it?
I've never even heard of it.
Oh my god.
I've heard of Hogan's Heroes and watched several episodes thereof.
Alright, it's a suicide mission of all criminals.
Okay.
A World War II suicide mission. They send all these fucking criminals to get to a town to secure a bank that the German army is fucking taking off, and they want them to secure it because it's full of fucking gold.
And there's no like slapstick comedy or nothing in it?
It's a comedy in some ways. But you got like, one of the guys is Telly Savalas, and he's like a fucking woman killer. Because, yeah, he like tries to strangle this bitch.
What?
And, yeah. And it's good, though. At the very end, they come up, and there's like a Panzer tank at the very end of it.
Spoilers for how old?
Oh, shit. This thing's from the 60s, man, at least.
Spoilers for a 50-year-old television show movie thing.
Well, I mean, they get up to the very end, and there's this fucking big Panzer tank right in front of this bank, and they can fight this fucking tank, which they're in fucking Shermans. There's no chance in fuck that they can beat it.
No, you can't take on a Panzer Sherman head on. You have to hit it from the side.
Exactly.
Thanks, History Channel.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was thanks next door neighbor who told me about the Battle of the Bulge and how he got his tank knocked out and shit.
Ugh.
Yeah, I actually live next door to one of Patton's men.
Okay.
But anyway, they get to the very end, and their solution to deal with this problem, they're like, we've got to hurry the fuck up. The Allies are right on our ass.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to hurry up and hit this bank. So they go up and literally just walk up to the fucking German guy, the commander of this tank, right? He's like the fucking hardcore Nazi it's left.
Oh, you want to fuck with my streusel, huh?
Yeah.
This is not the day to fuck with my streusel.
Exactly. And they come up to him and it's like, look, buddy, the Allied army, all of it, is right over that fucking hill. They're going to come and kill you. There's no getting around it. You're fucking dead. All right? That bank is full of fucking gold. We will share that fucking gold with you if you turn that fucking tank around and blow that goddamn vault and door open. So the German guy's like, really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
This tickles my streusel.
Exactly. So the German guy uses his fucking Panzer to destroy the bank and get the gold, and they give him his share, and he just fucking takes off.
God damn.
It's a fucking wonderful movie.
But you're talking about tanks. I work with a guy who is like balls deep. It's an older guy.
Mm-hmm.
In his 50s. Loves World of Tanks.
Mm.
Like, he went through one time when we were working together and explained the complexities of like tank stats and like going through all this shit like it's an RPG.
Yeah.
Like an MMO of just tanks.
That's not an MMO, man.
Yeah, I know. It's like I was like, you're playing pretty much an RTS or a MOBA. Like you're playing Defense of the Ancients and a tank battle. Like you're just picking those. Like, oh, this one has this much power. It's the same exact shit. When I was thinking about it, and I got to read into World of Tanks, I was like, this is interesting. I might give it a try. Fuck that shit. That's way too much fucking strategic planning for me.
Well, I'd play it.
Oh, I probably would give it a fucking roll of the dice too.
The whole idea is pretty silly though when you think about it. Most people that fought shit like that, they only, I mean, maybe World War II, they had fucking interaction almost every day.
Yeah.
But in modern times, no. Guys in the Gulf War, they had like one big fucking fight, lasted a couple hours, and that was about it.
Yeah, like, it's just a bunch of guys that are old school military fans with like a bunch of those World War II-esque massively multiplayer games. And all it seems to me is, it just seems like fucking Dota and tanks.
Yeah.
Or other Riot games. I don't remember. The one that John Tron plays all the time that he talks about. I don't remember the name of it. But that's just the fucking bare bones strategy of, you get certain tanks for certain fighting styles, and the way he was talking about it, because he uses a smaller tank that can find cover easier and move quicker. It reminded me of the way that you said that you played Mech Warrior.
Oh yeah,
using the smaller
that was the secret to Mech Warrior. You want fast, you want a light vehicle, but you want to be able to outfit that motherfucker with lots of weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But mainly it's about mobility.
See,
the big guys like the Atlas and the, what was it, Dahishi, or however they pronounced it.
I didn't get too deep into Mech Warrior. So.
Well, the two big guys, you know what I mean? The Atlas and this other one. They were so fucking slow that if you were in like a Mad Cat or smaller,
yeah,
you could fucking run rings around them and they couldn't catch up to you.
Yeah. See, your brother plays the exact opposite way. Because, like, he told me about that before you told me about that.
Yeah, he used to use the Atlas and...
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be slow as shit. That's why I used to wax his ass at that fucking game.
There aren't too many games that I played with buddies that I really got, like, stomped in the ground in until, like, I figured out, how to fucking play them. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember all the time, my buddy Jason, the guy that, loves playing Madden games and all other shit.
Yeah, I was about to say, a game I got my ass stomped in because I didn't give a shit was Tecmo Bowl.
But it was all fun and games for him until, like, I remember we played, like, UFC was, like, just on the cusp of becoming fucking huge.
Yeah.
And so they released, like, their first game for it. And he got it day of release, because that's how big of a UFC fan he was. And I remember going over to his house, popping that shit in, and, he can pick up on fighting games faster than anyone I ever fucking met. And, he went through, like, some of the career modes and, like, did some of the fights that he wanted to see. And he was like, all right, dude, you play. Fucking beat the shit out of me over and over and over. And he, back when we used to play wrestling games, play, like, SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. He would always use the submission guys. Because he would grind, like, you have to, like, push all the buttons, just kind of button mash to get the submissions down. He would grind his hand into the fucking controller until he had blisters. Like, no shit, he needed one of those, like, Nintendo 64 gloves that they released for what was it, Mario Party? He needed one of those to play PlayStation 2 games.
Good God.
Because I remember he would, like, fucking beat blisters into his hand. I don't know if he still does that shit today or not, but I know he still plays that shit.
So it was the ultimate button masher.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Except for me, dude. I pissed off my cousin playing WWE 13. Because I played CM Punk, of course, and he played The Rock. He had played, WWE on Xbox and shit, and I'd been playing on PlayStation. Well, I brought my PlayStation up, and every year Christmas and every year Thanksgiving, it's me, my uncle, and my cousin. We play, like, fighting games. Like last year, we played Mortal Kombat. But the year before that, we were all playing WWE 13, and I remember just, like, reversal. Every single fucking time he would give me something. Reversal. Fucking hit his ass. And then he got to the point where it was reversals back and forth. So it was a good, 30 to 45 minute long match of nothing but, like, whoop, slip behind the entire fucking time. Until finally we were like, fuck it, make it a ladder match. Where if you get lucky and knock someone out of the ring, you can climb the ladder real quick, grab the title, and fucking be done. Yeah.
I never could get into that shit. Wrestling games and the whole idea of the UFC crap you're talking about. I have no interest whatsoever in UFC.
It's all about fucking, like, with the games, it's all about fucking timing.
Well, it's not even that. I'm talking about just the whole idea of the UFC.
Oh, I know I'll catch some shit for this.
I don't give a shit.
I don't like UFC. When it comes to being a fan of fucking anything, I like wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, if I want to see fucking actual pit fighting, I want Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Give them motherfuckers a chainsaw or a goddamn gladius sword, and you let them go in there and kill each other.
Well,
because why are we fucking around? Why are we fucking around as a society saying, oh, this is skill, it's all this? No, fuck that. You're there to see blood and to see that motherfucker potentially on the ground dying.
In the very basics.
It's why people go see fucking NASCAR. They go to see goddamn whoever the fuck go slamming into turn number 6. You know what I'm talking about?
when I watch when hardcore fans watch UFC, they do watch it for the skill and the fighting and all this shit.
Yeah.
The basic Neanderthal, fucking it's like I want to see this kid's face busted in.
Yeah, but my point is why
I don't like, and I'll agree. This is probably one of the few times I'll agree with John McCain. It's human dogfighting.
It really is.
I don't fucking care to see this.
And I mean, I just want to see people quit fucking around and admit to themselves what it is. They even joke around, call themselves gladiators. Well, then, goddamn it, act a gladiator. You know, you want to be a gladiator. Like I've mentioned to you, made a joke once. Let's go to a fucking oil platform in the middle of the goddamn ocean. We'll set up a Thunderdome on that son of a bitch.
Thunderdome!
Exactly. Let motherfuckers fight with goddamn sledgehammers and shit.
Dude.
Which would be the ultimate pay-per-view. You know, everybody in the world would like to be all drawn up, their ass puckering, saying, oh, it's so barbaric. Yeah, it might be, but, you know, I just sold 40 million fucking subscriptions to this pay-per-view. You know? Goddamn. You know, people would subscribe to that shit more than they do wrestling, more than they do UFC, more than that they do fucking NASCAR. The first fucking time that you have balls enough...
I think the advertising campaign for that would have to last like a year. Because no major outlet would advertise that shit. It would have to see through. Yeah. Slowly. And then as soon as it's picked up by news outlets, this is going to happen. Yeah. And it will take 3 to 6 months for that to happen. Look how fucking slow the news picks up on shit that I saw months ago and laughed at. And then now they're giving that guy his own fucking party. And,
that dance guy bullshit. Yeah.
And I saw that months ago.
Yeah, that shit was played out fucking 3 months ago or more. Yeah.
The internet forgot about it, and then the mainstream media picked up on it, and the internet's like, fuck that guy.
Exactly. But what I'm getting at is that if we would just be honest with ourselves, you know, the society wants to see blood and guts. Quit being pussies about it, accept your inner Roman, and throw the motherfucker in a cage with the lions. Quit being fucking pussies about it.
If that's what he wants to do. I mean, Teddy Roosevelt, who he probably had the most gigantic cojones of any man since Stonewall Jackson and Andrew
Gave
Jackson.
A speech with a bullet in his chest.
Fought a bear. Had the world heavyweight boxer at the time on the front lawn of the White House. Yeah. And lost sight in one of his eyes from being punched so hard during his presidency.
Yeah. But was manly enough to go toe-to-toe with the motherfucker.
Yeah. Dude would fight bears.
Yeah.
I think that's what he did, unless that's the stuff of legend. But, I would, if a historian came and was like, oh, yes, Teddy Roosevelt fought a bear in 1913 after taking out the entire Mexican militia, I'd be like, I believe it. I believe it. He probably killed everyone on San Juan Hill. Who fucking cares? With a Bowie knife.
Well, I seen a thing once about his pistol. It was one of those, Mysteries at the Museum kind of thing, or one of them shows.
Thanks, History Channel.
Yeah. And it was about, somebody finding his gun. It had been stolen and shit. And somebody found it and give it back.
I bet it was 10 feet long, as big as what his cock was.
No, it's a 38.
It was a 10-foot long 38, as big as his cock. As big around as a cock. So
with a hat on top.
Yeah. So, and it had the barrel of a cannon, and he shot it one-handed, sideways.
Right. Yeah, and even the gun itself had a mustache.
Yeah.
That's right.
And every time he fired it, it said "bully."
Exactly. It didn't go bang. It said "bully."
And would instantly vaporize anyone that it touched.
Well, they were talking that during that fight that supposedly with this pistol he had shot 2 fucking guys. And it's just badass.
Yeah.
How many presidents can you really think of? How many fucking presidents in history actually shot a motherfucker?
Well, you have Washington.
Well, yeah.
Of course. And then there was a dry spell. Because I don't think Thomas Jefferson or John or Adams or...
Yeah, you see my point.
Yeah, there's quite a dry spell in there.
We haven't had what you call the manliest of presidents.
No, not
in our history. No.
I mean...
Now, we had that one vice president got in the fucking, the duel. Remember over the Fed and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Vice president got in the duel. Then Andrew Jackson, I think, had over 100 duels underneath his belt when he was in the White House.
Really?
Yeah, no shit. He also slept with a woman after his wife died. He also slept with a woman before she left with her husband.
Mm-hmm.
God, he did all kinds of crazy shit when he was in the White House.
I think it was Lincoln that actually was in a duel once, but it was like, technically it was a duel, but there was some technicality to it that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But fuck him. Fuck that guy. He got everything he deserved.
Oh, see, Sever Tyrannus.
Yeah. Exactly.
Holy shit. But, yeah, Andrew Jackson was quite the fucking badass. I mean, if people are like, well, why is, $20 bill racist slave owner and shit like that? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Dude was a great man. He killed the predecessor to the Federal Reserve. His last words were, "I killed the bank."
Yeah.
Because he knew how fucking powerful,
Yeah,
that shit could become.
How powerful it could become.
Oh, yeah.
How powerful it has become. Yeah.
But he kept the Union together during, probably worse turmoil than what happened before the Civil War with Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had another good president who was fucking oversighted completely after him, James K. Polk, another Tennessean.
Mm-hmm.
But, he gets shat on, and people don't even know why they're shitting on him.
Well, you heard about them wanting to replace the fucking $20 bill.
With who?
Harriet fucking Tubman. I am not fucking playing.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am not fucking playing.
As a proud Tennessean,
yeah,
that would royally piss me off.
On top of it, I'm sorry, I like the fact that we have presidents mainly on the bills, and I'm willing to give that one exception to Mr. Franklin for being for being a founding father and a playboy from hell
and a scientist.
That's what I'm saying.
And a naturalist.
Yeah.
And any ist that you can put on the back of his fucking name, he probably was.
Yeah. I mean, he's a founding father. He gets a pass.
He was a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
He was our early American version of having Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
I can totally see why he would be on the $100 bill. If Sacagawea, I can even fucking see being on that $1 gold coin.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that in a way.
Yeah, but because she helped out Lewis and Clark across the...
Yeah, but there was also the whole thing that she was probably about a 14, 15-year-old prostitute. They like to forget that part.
History, technicalities, which there's a ton of technicalities in history, but I don't think we'll go into that.
No. Not in this episode.
No. But but I can see why you'd want to honor someone like Harriet Tubman.
Oh, I see it, understand it.
But
I understand completely. But
make
you know
a
what?
special edition fucking coin.
Exactly.
Like they did with Susan B. Anthony. And
yeah, you can't make a commemorative.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And those are more collectible most of the time than the fucking bills are themselves.
Well, then again, though, I don't like the modern money.
No.
When you look at the modern money and you compare it to the older shit.
Well, also, too, if you compare the colors, they match the Monopoly money colors.
They really do.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Which, kids, this is a little special project that you can do at home.
Yeah.
Take out all your Monopoly money, 1 through 100, and take out real money 1 through 100. The colors fucking match.
Yeah. Well, it is Monopoly money. It really is. You know, I remember being in school, and a kid one time brought a $5 silver certificate. All right? He said that his grandfather had give it to him. Mm-hmm. And I remember a teacher fucking pretty much scamming that shit off of him. No shit.
Bought it for $5?
No, she gave him 10 for it. She said, I'll give you $10 for that $5 note. And he sold it. And even as a kid, I remember looking and I'm like, you're a dumbass, man. You don't realize what the fuck that represents.
Yeah.
It's just a piece of paper to you, you know?
Fucking crazy.
Yeah. And I can't even remember why he had it at school or something. And the teacher happened to see it, and I remember she just locked on it like a fucking hawk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Snatched it.
Dude, that reminds me. I see a giant hawk the other day.
Oh yeah.
I was driving back from. I don't know. I was driving around in Gleason,
Mm-hmm.
and I happened to be out in the fucking country. And dude, this fucking I saw a rabbit run by the road, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, this fucking giant brown reddish brown hawk just came down, and fucking snatched that fucker, and I was like, oh shit, dude, it was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
Fucking snatched. That's the first time I've ever seen a hawk kill something. It wasn't on a nature program.
Oh, I have seen it. I've seen it.
No shit.
Yep.
My mom loves hawks and stuff, so I gotta tell her that story. I haven't told her yet. Yeah.
I tell you one that'll creep you out. Where we used to live out here towards Dresden, there was a big power line with a great big towers. And one time, I counted more than 50 vultures sitting on that fucking power tower.
Holy shit.
Yeah, big, ugly, bald-headed puking buzzards.
Every time I fucking see those on the road, I hope that I hit them.
Yeah.
I hope that I hit them.
Well, that's the thing is that, I mean, they serve a purpose. You know, they have their purpose. But I remember, being just really grossed out that they're near my house. Yeah. And I'm like, how much dead shit is around here that these motherfuckers are flocking here? You know?
I remember.
I walked down there by them, too, dude. I walked near the tower. And it's creepy seeing all those motherfuckers, eyeballing you. Because they don't get scared. You can get up damn close to them without them fucking freaking out. And they were just sitting there watching me. You know, and these fucking birds, man.
They're pretty big, too.
They could fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the hell away from it. I remember just going up looking at them and just getting creeped out. Fuck these goddamn disgusting things, you know?
Dude, I heard of, after the subprime mortgage thing tanked, about companies and shit, they would call themselves vultures.
Yeah.
Because they would move in on these very expensive houses for cheap.
Oh, yeah.
And then, it was all I need to do in here is new paint, clean it up a bit, and sell it for XYZ amount of money. And I was like, are you fucking crazy? I secretly wish I could have gotten on that sleazy ass bandwagon. But
yeah.
Fuck.
Well, it's no different from the shit they did in the 80s. People used to call them corporate raiders.
Yeah.
They'd come in and buy a popular company and split that motherfucker up and sell the pieces.
It's like in Wolf of Wall Street, how he started off with fucking penny stocks and fucking changed that shit.
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
Because he saw how much commission he could make on it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, people realized that it was a way to cash out money real quick.
Yeah.
You'd buy a company that was beginning to falter or had some trouble, and instead of trying to build the company back up, you just cashed it out.
Yeah.
And sold all its assets, its buildings, and
yeah.
Yeah, and fuck it. You fire 10,000 people. What the hell does he care? He's living in Hollywood, living up on the mountainside, fucking hooping it up.
That's another movie I need to watch again. Fucking Wall Street.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched that in a while.
On another subject, I got to see something the other day that I thought was actually pretty good. Chappie.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say it was a good movie, but it was an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
And for people that never really thought of some of these subjects, it brings up some really good stuff.
We got on this subject before.
Yeah, it's one of the things we cut out because we went full retard for half an hour on it.
I was damn near, I was super drunk and
you were
making an argument.
Yeah, we damn near got into a fucking argument about it. But the movie does get into that. You know what it's about. It's basically,
can robots have souls?
Well, yeah, it's basically the retelling Johnny Five. And it reminds me of the scene. The whole movie is basically Johnny Five whenever he was hanging out with was it Los Lobos or whatever, which I think was in the second movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's basically what constitutes consciousness and intelligence and life, and just overall it's a good fucking flick. I mean, Wolverine in it plays a fucking religious guy.
Yeah, the zealot.
Yeah, he's kind of a zealot, but he's also like a really hardcore, like Australian military prick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just a good flick, man. I mean, I was surprised by it.
I haven't going back on the subject of things we've watched, dude. I haven't bothered to sit down and watch a movie that wasn't a documentary since, we went to go fucking see, or at least on my own.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know fucking why. Like I watched, it's a little bit old, the Paul Heyman documentary on about fucking wrestling and his career and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it super interesting. 'Cause he started his own business when he was, I think, 11.
Damn.
Where he was selling like mail order movie posters and shit.
Huh.
Yeah, no shit.
Cool.
And then it was like as soon as I saw my first wrestling match, he was like, I knew that was all I wanted to do, and so he started wrestling magazines and going to Madison Square Garden, kind of like sneaking his way into the back and doing press and shit. And
which, have you ever noticed something about people that are not even the ones that get like rich and famous, but a lot of times when you hear about people that like make something of themselves, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed the weird connections they have to certain things?
Yeah.
Almost invariably, they almost always come from a big city.
Yeah.
They have access to something big.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, the connections between rich people and famous people is pretty fucking interesting.
Well, he made all of his, like, elbowing his way in, and there's quite a few people, at least during that time period, that did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
but I'm saying he would never had a chance, well, he would never had the chances that he had.
Unless he didn't live in New York.
Yeah, the fact that he lived in New York, he had access to XYZ place and, give him more opportunity. It'd been a little hard for him to do if he'd have grown up in the middle of, I don't know, backwoods fucking Oklahoma. You know what I mean?
Well, even then you had AWA down there, too.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he'd have come from a small dirt town in the backwoods of nowhere.
Where there was absolutely nothing around that you could really get to that easily.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, to make anything successful or to try out, it's just like having the drive just to get up and fucking do it.
Yeah, well, half of doing anything is actually the doing.
Yeah.
Showing up. Showing up is half of it right there.
And then there are some people that will go, show up, don't put any effort toward anything, and are just there pretty much to be there.
Yeah, they slouch their way through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm just saying, though, the connections to me is always what's fascinating.
Yeah.
I've watched documentaries, so many fucking documentaries, where they'll mention something on the side, and it really draws your attention. It was like, how did this guy know that guy? And how was it in all of history he happened to be at the right spot during a 3-day fucking period, That kind of bullshit.
That makes me go back to think about that Paul Heyman thing.
Yeah.
He was at Studio 54.
Mm-hmm.
He invited someone up from Jim Crockett Promotions, and he was just taking pictures of him. And that same night, the lead photographer for Studio 54 got thrown out for throwing empty vodka bottles at the bartender. And so he got fucking shit canned. And Paul Lee went up to the main manager, and the main manager was like, I don't know what I'm gonna fucking do. And Paul Lee was just like, I can be your photographer.
Yeah.
He was like, really? He was like, sure, why not? I've been doing it all my life. Bullshit his way through.
Yeah.
And then there was like this another studio that started up in New York, and like everyone that had gotten fired from 54 was going to it. And like they needed a producer or something for like their shows and everything. And Paulie was like, I can do it. The guy was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, sure. I've been doing it all my life. Just bullshit his way into that job too.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, like, I was talking about weird connections. I can't remember if I mentioned this. I might have mentioned it last week on the episode that didn't make it. I watched this fucking documentary a week or two ago about the life of the guy who plays Big Bird. The puppeteer. It was the whole
Oh,
thing
yeah,
about.
you did talk about it last week for a part that, God damn it, that's such a good bit, too.
Yeah. Well, it's fucking great. I watched this whole thing about the guy, the puppeteer, how he become Big Bird. He was the puppeteer and some other shit for Bozo.
Yeah.
You know, before he met Jim Henson and all this. I'm watching this whole documentary, and it's interesting. It's really fucking interesting just hearing this guy's story. But then there was this little snippet. They didn't spend 30 seconds on the most important part of the whole fucking story. Out of the fucking blue, he tells how that NASA approached him back in like 1986, okay, and asked him if he would be willing to go to space.
Big Bird
In space! Exactly. Yes. They really wanted to do it. They wanted to put Big Bird on the fucking space shuttle, send him up, and do like live feeds or something from orbit. Well, after a month or two, he said, yeah, I'll do it. And they even told him to get ready to come and start astronaut training and all that shit. Yeah, he was going to be the first puppeteer ever to do a puppet show in space. You know? Which, I could see why he'd go. If you're a fucking puppeteer, how many opportunities are you going to get to go to space? You know?
Oh, Christ.
Well, a month or so into it, they suddenly contacted him, said that they'd changed their mind. They decided they were going to send a teacher. All right?
Sally Ride.
No, not Sally Ride. No, she was the first female American astronaut.
Yeah.
From 81, I think. Oh, you're talking about Christy McCullough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking Sally Ride. I know she died a little while back, but anyway.
She might have. I couldn't tell you. But anyway, technically, Big Bird would have been on the fucking Challenger. And all I could see in my fucking head, okay, this is all I could see.
Can you tell me how to get the...
And just fucking yellow feathers everywhere.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine?
Big Bird's foot landed in front of like some kids, like up on his dad's shoulders. Starts just wailing.
Little boy's holding an American flag, you know what I mean? He's watching the shuttle launch, you know? Could you imagine the fucking collective fucking knee-jerk reaction the fucking country and world would have had?
Big Bird's dead!
You can't bring him back after that.
Dude,
you can't bullshit the show and say
Sesame Street would get so emo after that. Elmo would start cutting himself. Bert and Ernie would go through a divorce, and
fucking Bert's shooting up heroin and shit. And, you know, Ernie comes upstairs,
ends up in a back alley somewhere, strung down on meth, and smoking it through his trunk.
He comes up. Imagine Ernie comes upstairs and fucking Bert's lost his mind. He's strangled like all his pigeons and shit, you know.
Ernie starts having Vietnam War flashbacks. And...
Oh, dude, there was a kid. I think it was Kids in the Hall. There was a routine that they did one time.
Yeah.
Fucking beautiful. And it's fucking Bert and Ernie, right? And you know, guys are dressed as Bert and Ernie, but you can see their faces, you know.
Yeah.
But they're wearing these costumes. And he comes in and it's Bert, and he's like, "Now, Ernie, I'm sick of coming home and finding you strung out on the bathroom floor, all whacked out on cookies." He's like, "I couldn't help it, Bert. Cookie Monster come over. He brought a bag."
Right.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
Now think about it. If Big Bird had went to fucking space in 1986
and not have died.
Well, and had died.
Oh, okay.
Blew the fuck up, you know. How the fuck are they going to get around this? Because the same guy that plays Big Bird played Oscar.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the puppeteer for both. All right.
Holy crap.
And you would have to have a special episode of Sesame Street.
Where they have a funeral?
Or maybe where they have a funeral, or like Big Bird flies out of the sky because when the shuttle fucking exploded, he got thrown out and they have to bullshit it. You know what I'm talking about? Like Big Bird flew back home.
And then like you would like piss off the American public after like them going through this tragedy.
Yeah.
Of like here is, you know, pretty much one of the last shuttle missions.
Yeah.
blown
no,
up.
it was halfway through the shuttle era.
Okay, well,
Yeah, 86.
yeah,
Yeah.
You have this happen. You show footage of this, or like make reference to it on a children's program,
Well, yeah.
and then all of a sudden, like, oh, well, everyone else died except for Big Bird. Big Bird wasn't able to save the others.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. He saved his own ass.
Yeah,
you know.
he saved him and the blue one.
The blue one?
What
Grover?
Was it Oscar the Groucho Blade?
Oscar's green, you jackass.
I don't fucking know. What was the other character you said that he played?
Oscar.
Okay, so
Yeah, Oscar technically was orange, the original.
Well, all right.
Yeah, and according to the story, they had it on the thing where Oscar was saying that he's still actually orange. It's just he's so filthy he's covered in algae.
but anyway, you have Big Bird saving himself and Oscar.
Yeah.
Or Oscar was like jettisoned out of the thing in a trash can and survived. He splashed down somewhere in the Atlantic.
Big Bird climbed in with him, or
yeah,
Big Bird flew off carrying the trash can.
Yeah, and then he wasn't able to save like the human astronauts. So you have like this fucked up storyline.
Yeah.
Where Big Bird is now like almost treasonous for not saving like these other lives. He's shamed in front of the American people forever. He has to move to Canada to escape the ridicule that he would get.
Oh my God! Could you just? I've thought about this.
Fucking imagined.
Now think about it. We know. Well, we can't 100% prove it, but the many worlds idea is pretty legitimate.
Yeah.
So that means there is a world in an alternate Earth, an alternate America,
where all the shit that I just said happened.
Big Bird went to fucking space. Then there was a world where Big Bird went to space and blew the fuck up. You know?
And there's a one where Big Bird
was
almost went to space. And
was traitorous. Skipped the border, jumped the border so he could get the hell out of trouble. And
on this episode of Sesame Street, Elmo dodges the draft.
Elmo doesn't want to die in the desert.
Oh, shit.
No war for oil.
It shows him packing his shit. He puts his goldfish in a bag. Like in house of order.
Super Grover's like slapping the shit out of him, like fucking Patton for being a little pussy, you know what I mean?
Holy shit. Oh, the fucked up story that is.
Oh my God. But yeah, like I said, I watched this whole documentary, and they passed up that whole thing in 30 seconds. My mind created this movie in my fucking head that was greater than the whole fucking documentary. This what if, That was a great fucking documentary. Just for that snippet.
Just 30 seconds out of it, and we came up with about like 5 minutes worth of content.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I sit for a good half hour or more.
Animators, animate that shit.
Yeah. I actually did. I stopped the fucking documentary and was just sitting there kind of staring at the wall, just playing the movie in my head.
Big Bird could have died.
Just of the fucking and feathers. Oh, shit.
Sesame Street's would have been fucked up after that.
Sesame Street was always fucked up, dude.
Well, you showed me. Well, I never watched Sesame Street as a kid, and if I did,
really?
I was way too young to remember.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching like shit like Schoolhouse Rock and later on Hysteria and shit. For the most part, I didn't watch that much educational programming.
Yeah,
I didn't watch much PBS, dude. It was all fucking Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, which the reason I watched PBS as a kid because it was one of only like 3 or 4 channels we could get.
Yeah. I used to watch rip-off Japanese shows where fucking guys would punch great people in the weak spot in the chest and they would vaporize.
Which, speaking of Power Rangers, did you hear about the
Green Ranger wanted to fight CM Punk.
Yeah.
I fucking did.
Yeah.
And like Pat and Ian are like, I hope CM Punk gets his ass kicked. And I'm thinking like, Punk knows Muay Thai.
Yeah, well, if anybody's wondering, Pat and Ian he's referencing is the Completely Unnecessary podcast.
Yeah. Pat the NES Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Punk knows Muay Thai. Punk also has a lot of friends that are in UFC.
Mm-hmm.
That when he was doing wrestling near the end, he was training with. He was getting in really really good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the other guy's a decorated martial artist, I think that CM Punk will put up a much better fight than what people think that it would be. It's like, oh yeah, he's just a martial artist, he'll fucking kick his ass. Punk knows some shit too.
Yeah,
so.
I don't see why they shouldn't. At least just do a fuck around match. Why not?
Yeah.
Why the fuck not?
Speaking of Green Ranger, that there was a Green Ranger t-shirt that came in the Loot Crate.
Oh yeah.
No shit.
Is it? You still got it over?
Yeah, still got it. Let me take off this for a sec.
All right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, he's digging through his Loot Crate. Let me see that. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. So what's all that the moon glyphs there on the bottom?
Oh, I don't even know. I think it's like the I know they snuck in the Loot Crate symbol right there.
Yeah.
And then
yeah, it's got the Ranger fucking lightning bolt in the center.
Yeah. Let me get back on headset and I'll explain. They also had Avengers ice cube trays. Fucking cool. Here, let me show you. I thought this was a great housewarming gift.
Alright, he just handed me an ice cube tray here. What is this?
It's got Captain America, Thor, The Thing, Hulk.
This is fucking bizarre.
It is, but it's ice cube trays. I'll make those shapes.
And the fucking art, dude. This is like late 70s, early 80s art.
Yeah, it's a Silver Age.
Yeah. This is fucking...
I'm totally gonna use them.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out who the fuck thought of this? Somebody at some corporate level said, hey, you know what would be a good idea?
Ice cube trays.
Yeah, let's make fucking ice shaped like fucking Marvel characters.
I think they would also be good, like miniature cake molds too, since they're that material.
Yeah, cupcakes.
Yeah.
You'd have to make some kind of non-bake bullshit.
Yeah.
Candy, you could pour candy in it.
But I think there's I haven't even opened this shit yet.
Well, there goes the resale value.
Yeah, I'm gonna be using them anyway. Oh, I thought they would have like Spider-Man's head on it, but it's 2 Iron Mans, 2 Captain America shields, 2 Thing heads,
and 2 fists.
2 fists. I think they're Thing's fists or Hulk's fists.
Well, let me see the inside of it. Dude, there isn't enough detail to really make out what the fuck this stuff is. Maybe the Iron Man or the Captain America shields, or maybe Iron Man's face. But the other 2, I don't see how it's got enough fucking detail. I mean, the Thing is just going to look like a fucked up ice cube, man.
Yeah, but they're big ice cubes, like big ice cubes.
Well, yeah. Somebody thought that would be a good idea.
And look on the inside. I think the fist will come out alright, too.
Maybe if you was to use colored water or something. You know, put a little food color
in it, yeah, and do like red for Iron Man, and then blue for Captain America, yellow for Thing, and do green for Hulk.
Well, seeing what you got definitely makes me want to see Ashen's next fucking unboxing video.
Well, they also have a couple of comics in there. I don't remember either one of the comics.
Mm-hmm.
A Rick and Morty puzzle. I love Rick and Morty. If you haven't seen that yet, it's kind of like a...
Is that the one that's ripping off like Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really fucking funny.
Yeah, I've been told it was alright, but... I think a week or 2 ago they did an intro for The Simpsons.
Yeah, Rick and Morty is another one of them really good Adult Swim gems. But what I was getting at with the Power Rangers thing over there is I know we had the conversation about the Power Rangers the other day, which blew my mind when I opened that crate and I saw the Green Ranger, and I was like, "The fuck, am I bugged?" I was like, "Lootcrate listening to me?" But like, like they have season 1 Green Ranger, and then like they had. I remember when I was a kid, they had the first Power Ranger movie come out, which was actually in fucking theaters, and I went to go see this in theaters when I was a little kid, and all of the Rangers went from having, dinosaurs, because, like, their, like, base gets fucked up by this new bad guy. And so, like, they find, like, this ancient power base or whatever the fuck. I don't remember the exact details. It's been probably 15 or more years since I watched this fucking movie.
Yeah, well, it was probably all determined by whatever fucking episode or whatever Japanese show they had on hand, and like, well, what did the plot do on this fucking random episode? Oh, they did this.
They're like, why was there this changeover? And
yeah, and they were like, fuck it, just
left
throw it in.
The American team to kind of fill in the gaps, because all like the first movie was like all American done.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I knew that the show though was like from 3 different shows, wasn't it?
Yeah. But what they did was they like found this ancient animal power source thing, which the Green Ranger went from being like this. He used to play like this flute. Yeah, no shit. He used to play like this flute that would call up this Godzilla-like Megazord. That's what they would call it. God. And I remember watching an episode of this, like, probably back when I was in high school, and I ain't seen it. Like, and you could tell, like, it was the guy in the suit, and the Green Ranger was like, they had taken a little action figure of the Green Ranger and like glued him to the shoulder, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
Wow. Yeah. I remember when that shit come out way back when. Like, dude, I was in high school or later, but I remember like flipping channels and seeing that shit. And the thought that went through my head, I remember stopping for like 30 seconds and just, what the fuck am I looking at? And watching it and then flipping on past it, because this is a thought going through my head. I'm not high enough for this shit.
But for kids, dude, they ate it up.
Oh, the kids eat it up. But, I mean, even at like 18, 19, or 20, however old I was then, I was like, fuck, I don't get this at all.
Dude, I didn't have, the way that I look at it, it was just a continuation of like Voltron and Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I didn't have Voltron when I was a kid.
Yeah, well, Voltron sucked.
Transformers, like, was in the shit can.
Yeah, once again, there's another one with the shit. 1986 thereabouts, after the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Transformers. That shit pissed me the fuck off.
But Transformers went in the shit can. Didn't have Voltron. There was a void to fill with, like, kind of original, like, fighting fucking superheroes and shit. And, like, boom, Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And it was, like, the absolute biggest shit, I remember when I was a kid.
Well, the closest that you could actually compare it, it is kind of Voltron, but the fact that they used 3 Japanese TV shows, mixed it in with
American actors, it really is like Transformers, because they took like 2 or 3 different toy lines, and just mashed them together. Dude, I remember
Optimus. I think his name was Convoy, wasn't it? Like the original Optimus.
I don't even remember, dude. But I remember some of the toys that they used to make were, like, inventive as shit. Yeah. And, like, this was back when kids' toys were fucking high quality. Like, I've looked at the shit they come out with now. Holy fuck, what cheap plastic garbage this is.
Yeah.
And, like...
Well, look how well made a fucking G.I. Joe doll is. Well... compared to shit now.
Alright, I bought... the newest action figure that I bought was that Walter White that I have. From Breaking Bad. That is high quality, or not high quality, it's what I would call mid-quality, probably lower mid-quality, basic articulation, it has some flaws in it, but yet again, it's a little bit cheaper made, but it's about on the same quality as like the Dragon Ball Z action figures I used to get. Now you go, and you either have to pay, I think for like a quality WWE figure, $15, right? Which would be the exact same quality as that Walter White figure. Or you go down like the cheaper shit, which they barely have any articulations, or they're little miniature figurines of shit. the fuck, man? Our miniature figurines back then, they were micro machines.
Yeah.
Like we used to have, like, I used to have a ton of fucking fun with micro machines.
Yeah.
There's no inventive toys anymore.
Mm-mm.
Like with what the Power Ranger toy line had. Okay? The Power Ranger toy line, and I still have this at home somewhere, they all had their weapons, right? And there was this, like, set you could buy where it was all their weapons, and you can take it and, like, fucking mesh it around apart and make the gun, like, they would use out of all their weapons. And, like, dude, it was the coolest shit.
Like a transformer gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, put them all together.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome, because, like, you put the daggers on, like, the side, and, like, the axe was, like, the main part, and then, like, you put the Yellow Rangers and the Red Rangers on top together, and then, like, you could, like, act like it was the fucking Power Rangers gun they would pull out once in a fucking while in the episode.
Yeah.
I remember I was the only kid that ever fucking had that shit that I ever saw. Like, I had that, the first edition Megazord they had came out with, which was very basic. You couldn't take it apart. It was just the Megazord in the final form that, you know, you push a few buttons on it and it lit up and make some sounds. Then, like, later on, I had, like, dude, my parents spoiled the shit out of me when I was a kid with this shit.
Yeah, they must have.
Holy Christ. If I go back now, dude, it was so, like...
You know what, the last... I got out of G.I. Joe when I was a kid, because it got to getting fucking goofy, dude. About 1980... Oh, shit, about 88, the series started going to hell.
Yeah.
You know, about the time you got into Serpentor and some other shit, you know, the toy line was going to fucking hell. But there was one, it was one of the last series of the original G.I. Joe stuff. To this day, I wished I'd had it.
Yeah.
I was a fucking teenager when that come out, and I remember seeing it and going like, that's fucking cool. It was Star Brigade.
Yeah.
Honest to fucking God, dude, it's like a Mech Warrior suit for your G.I. Joe. Yeah. And it's worth a fucking fortune now.
Dude, I wish I would have had... I wish my parents' fucking dog wouldn't have got in and chewed up all my Dragon Ball Z action figures. Yeah.
And you didn't stomp that fucking dog?
I was a fucking battle dude. I hate that fucking dog. I hate it.
To this day, you're still like, dog, you fucked up my Dragon Ball.
That's the thing. That's what I refer to as the thing that lives under the couch. You know which dog I'm talking about?
Oh, you're talking about the wrinkly...
Yeah, fuck that fucking dog. I fucking hate that dog.
Yeah, the wrinkly ball of shaking.
I fucking hate that dog.
Which would be the dog for the idea we discussed the other day about the Retro Kids idea.
Dog that shits everywhere.
Yeah, you talk about the dog that you throw down, they find and throw down a Pokeball, and this old shaking, shitting old dog comes out.
God, I hate that fucking dog.
That's the one we'll put in.
Oh, Christ.
There's something else I've been wanting to talk about, and I don't know. I've put a lot of thought in this over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. It needs to be talked about. I tried to sit and do a video, where I talked about it, and I cannot get my words right. About 2 weeks ago when it opened, me and Lunchbox here, we went and seen the new Road Warrior movie.
Yep.
Mad Max Fury Road. I guess I have the only dissenting opinion. I can't speak for him, but I must have the only dissenting opinion in the whole fucking universe. I didn't fucking like it. I'm not happy with it. It bugs me. It bugs me at an internal core level. And there's a lot of reasons for it.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking reasons. It's just, it was not Max's movie.
Yeah, well, you grew up with the Road Warrior, too.
Oh, I fucking damn right. I fucking lived and breathed and eat that shit.
Yeah.
I mean...
Because I remember when we first started hanging out all the time, you're like, well, have you ever seen Mad Max?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, movie where they bash up cars in the desert. And you're like, no, it's way much more than that.
It's way more than that.
And then you got into the complexity, and I remember it was like a 2 or 3 week period where we sit through and we plowed through.
Yeah, we watched them together and shit, and I remember talking about them. And
you'd even go into like the special effects shit, like oh, this part was used, and
yeah, Yeah, this part was not actually intended to be the way they shot it, and
then like
this motorcycle wreck, this guy actually got his fucking leg broke in this scene.
Yeah, and then like
yeah.
you would point out some of the parts that were used on Max's car and
Oh yeah,
hardcore.
Oh dude,
into these fucking movies.
Dude, I have studied that shit. I mean, for years I have been just following and eating this shit up.
Because I know it's like your favorite trilogy.
Oh, it is. Well, I'm willing to put it up there with Star Wars.
Yeah.
In importance, personal importance to me. This latest movie, though, it was not Max's story. It was Furiosa's story. There should have been a movie called Furiosa first that told her story. Max didn't have to be in this fucking movie at all. He really didn't.
I see him as a catalyst to tell the story through. I think that's really what George Miller is looking to do with his character now. Because Max's story, at least within his timeline, the original one, it's kind of already been told.
Well, maybe me, Mr. Superfan, would eat it up even if it was Max at age 100-year-old. You know what I mean?
In the desert, or being like some kind of mystic or something.
Yeah. Which I could get into that later. What I thought would have made a good new Max movie, but all right. This is the biggie. This is my fucking biggie. One, I don't like fucking reboots. All right.
I don't think anyone does for the most part.
I understand the whole thing. Like we discussed this earlier, and it makes sense. You can't go home again. You can't. But I'm sick of these fucking reboots. Lost in Space years ago was one of the first reboots I remember that got under my fucking skin. I mean, it just annoyed the fuck out of me. It was just wrong, and I didn't like it. All right? The Star Trek fucking reboots.
Which I like the first one.
Oh, I can't stand them. Yeah. I literally cannot stand those fucking reboots. And everything nowadays, it's like they cannot come up with a new idea anymore. They have to just regurgitate every fucking thing. Yeah. Okay, now here's my biggies about the Mad Max movie. I understand it's supposed to... Here's the thing, it's not 100% whether it's a reboot or what. But it obviously is in my mind because the Interceptor should not have been in the fucking movie. Okay? And if the Interceptor was in the movie, let's say that this movie was supposed to take place between the first film and the Road Warrior. Okay? Yeah. Well, sorry, the Interceptor should have survived the fucking movie.
For it to get destroyed in the second.
Exactly. So thus, that tells me this does not fit the fucking timeline. This is a reboot. Yeah. Okay. Another big issue I had during this film, and once again, it's just being a nerd, knowing this shit. That movie, the reboot, does not fit the official timeline.
Well, no, they released what you said. They released a comic for it.
Yeah.
So it's like 2046.
Yeah, it's I've looked at what the actual timeline is, and it's pretty bizarre. It doesn't fit the original at all. Yeah. But I mean, just the shit that's shown on the screen. And this was the biggie for me. The war is supposed to happen 1979, 1980, up through there.
Yeah.
Don't show me a Glock pistol that come out in 1982. I'm sorry, it's not going to be in this fucking movie.
Well was the nuclear war supposed to happen later on with the new timeline?
Well,
you would figure.
Yes and no. Yes and no. The point being is that by 1979, in the pretty much the first movie, production of shit had ceased.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember there was the whole speech about this is the last of the V8 Interceptors? That tells me all major production had fucking ceased. You're not going to see a fucking Glock pistol.
Yeah.
That Glock pistol didn't appear until 1982.
Yeah.
All right. What the fuck is an Austrian pistol doing in the backwoods of fucking nowhere fucking Australia? All right. It's an anomaly. Don't show me Mercedes fucking cars that are same thing, 82, 83 models, The movie is just full of that shit. Another thing, the monster trucks. Okay, I can't get into this heavy enough, but goddamn it, in 1979, 1980, the only monster truck in the fucking world, beyond like the U.S. military Tundra vehicles, okay, was Bigfoot. And if you want to know what he looked like in about 1979, go back and watch the movie Take This Job and Shove It.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he had big tires, but it was just a big four-wheel drive at that time. It wasn't until around 81, 82, up through there, that they got the full military axles. They took the giant grain truck tires and put on him. Boom, you got American monster truck.
Yeah.
All right. That shit does not belong in the Australian outback.
In 1982.
Okay. Now, some people could bitch, and they'd have a legitimate bitch say, wait a minute, what about the vehicles in Thunderdome? Do you remember some of the trucks with the great big tires and shit on them?
Yeah.
They're not full monster trucks. Those are like grain truck kind of tires, all right?
See, but you're comparing all of this to, like, you're trying to fit it in to the original timeline.
Yeah.
Which, of course, if you go and just see the movie and you don't have, like, any knowledge of, like, the comics or anything that came out.
Yeah, most people don't know history, so they don't know when the monster truck come out. They don't know when Glock pistols were made.
Well, if you just go and see this movie, and then you go back and you do a little bit of research for just this movie, you would see, oh, this is the year that it's supposed to have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then it makes a little bit more sense with some of the continuity.
Yeah.
It's not going to fit because it's not a part of that original timeline.
Yeah.
You can try to shove that square peg in the round block all day long, and it's just not going to fit.
Well, what can I say?
Well,
fucking widen the hole, I guess. But know,
well, we went into this, and I went to the same mindset that you did of, oh, they're just going to continue on with the Road Warrior story. It's going to be back later. All this shit. It's going to be probably what we were expecting.
I was hoping for
late
something.
80s.
I was
like we were thinking like it was going to be based in late 80s, not in the future, 2047.
Yeah, I was expecting to see a continuation of the timeline, something after Thunderdome.
Yeah.
And boom, all of a sudden we see the Interceptor. And right there off the fucking bat, I was like, wait a minute. I felt a disturbance in the force at that moment. And that's another big one. If you're going to fucking bring the goddamn Interceptor back, don't destroy the son of a bitch 30 fucking seconds into the goddamn movie. And here's another one. They didn't
destroy it 30 seconds in the movie.
They did.
No, they didn't. They destroyed it later on.
No, like a minute. You remember the first thing that happened, when the movie starts, is Max is standing there by his car.
Yeah, and then they repair it. Those fucking psychos, and they repair it.
He flips it, though. You remember the wreck?
Yeah.
They use the explosives, causes him to flip the car.
Yeah, then the psychos repair it.
Yeah.
And then he sees the car during that.
Yeah.
One of those last chase scenes.
Yeah, and he gets crushed between the two trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm talking about, though, 30 seconds into the goddamn movie, it had been destroyed. It had been flipped, and he's captured.
Yeah.
Which, let me start it, and this is nitpicky. This is nitpicky bullshit, I know. This bugs me, because this is like, fuck you. This is a fucking nod to Fallout, and Fallout was a goddamn ripoff of Mad Max.
The way that I look at...
All right.
Well, the way that I look at the Interceptor being destroyed at the very beginning of the movie is, you remember at the beginning of The Shining.
Yeah.
When, the yellow beetle is
on
the side of the road.
Yeah, the wreck.
And it was pretty much like Kubrick's middle finger to, like, King at that point, being like, I'm doing my own shit.
Well, yeah.
And I really think that maybe that was George Miller's kind of middle finger to, like, it's like, you guys stop paying attention to this. This is something totally new.
Yeah, that's what it was. To me,
you have to go and look this shit up.
George Miller should have appeared within the first 30 seconds of the film, dropped his fucking pants, and says, "Hey, audience, suck my fucking cock."
He should have been like, "Hey guys, those old Mad Max movies? This has nothing to do with those."
Yeah.
Because
now hang on. This is the part I was getting at. The nitpicky. It starts off Max sitting beside his car. Now, I will give it some kudos. There was a touch on the Interceptor I loved, was that the tire was completely blowed the fuck out. If you see it for a split second, but the tire looks like it blew out, and it looked like Max had took every piece of fucking old cloth and trash and stuffed the tire with this physical shit, so it could actually still move. Okay, I can buy that. Max will do what it fucking takes to keep moving, you know? Now, he's standing there. And this is the nod, to me, I think was a nod to Fallout, which fuck them for this, okay? Was that goddamn two-headed lizard. The little two-headed lizard appears for a second, all right?
He steps on it.
Yeah, he stomped it as it run past him. And now this is where I have a problem with the whole thing about Max. Max then reaches down, picks the fucking lizard up, and just eats the motherfucker. Fuck you, Max is smarter than that. You just don't go eating raw fucking meat.
See, I rationalized it with Max became even fucking crazier than what he had been before.
Yeah, bullshit. Max is smart. He would have stomped it as soon as he saw something like that. Boom, a treat. But Max is smart enough. You'd have seen later him fucking stewing that motherfucker up in a coffee cup. You know what I mean?
But I think he knew he was being chased, and bam, protein.
Well, at that moment he didn't, because he stomps it, eats it, and then a second later he turns around. That's another one that doesn't fit. If you look on his back, in that scene, he's wearing one of those camelbacks, I think they call them.
Yeah.
It's like a water bag, you know, with the fucking hose. That shit didn't exist in 1979. Now, once again,
does not fit in the timeline.
Yeah, it doesn't fit in the timeline. Not to say that Max couldn't have got a hold of a fucking water bag and figured one out on his own. You know? But, god damn it. But let's get deeper into this. This is my biggie. This is the fucking biggie for me that ruined this fucking movie. The name of the movie should not have been Mad Max Fury Road. It should have been Mad Max Feminist Road.
Oh,
yes, I'm fucking going there, dude.
Oh, here we go.
I am fucking going there.
Says the kid that said the word feminazi multiple times on this fucking program.
Yeah. Now, I'm willing to say that this is one of the most feminist goddamn movies I've ever seen in my life. When you watch this fucking movie, okay, it portrays men as the end-all, be-all destructors of the fucking world.
Yeah.
Okay? It portrays the women as being the only ones with enough fucking brains to salvage things. Yes. The protection of the fucking mothers. Okay? The whole idea of the pregnant girl and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Then you had the whole thing with the fucking breast milk bullshit. Then you had the old women. Do you remember the one that obviously she had like her old purse from before the war, but when she opened it up, it was full of seeds and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. The whole Mother Earth preservation of fucking life, claptrap, horse shit. It is horse shit. Like there isn't a man on Earth that doesn't give a rat's ass about putting a seed in the fucking ground. I'm sorry, my granddaddy was a farmer his whole fucking life. And guess what? He give a damn about the land, you know? Now, you get into other parts of this film.
This is a very small slice of humanity they're showing too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's look at some of the stuff they show. Now, the three cultures, the three city-states that operated, that traded amongst each other. You had a Morton Joe's fucking colony, which, to me, represented religion. Okay? And their religion was not only the worship of immortality through combat, like a Valhalla kind of idea.
I will carry you in my arms personally to Valhalla.
Yeah, yeah. And they worship Immortan Joe because he was a survivor.
Yeah.
You know, that he was this old man that had lived through this bullshit, you know. Now, they showed him having an altar, and it was a security system to keep people from stealing their war machines. They had all those fucking steering wheels stacked up. But if you look, it was an altar. These people not only worship combat and immortality and all this, they worship the automobile.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you had another culture that was the, what do they call it? Fuel City? Gas Town, yeah. They obviously represented the fucking industrial complex.
Yeah.
Because who was their leader?
It was the pencil pusher,
yeah, a guy who drove this
financier.
He drove a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Even though it was a big monster truck rat rod thing. Now, he was also like some sexual deviant, you remember? Because he had his nipples cut out with them pierced.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had like gout on his feet, you know. He was all worried about his fucking bottom line and his goddamn, we've spent so much on fuel and so much on weapons and equipment. Then you had this other group, the bullet farmers.
Yeah.
They were the military complex.
Yeah.
Those are the three big societies, and they show it all as being men. All right? Then we get off, and what was it they called those fucking women in the desert? The vulva rights or some bullshit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, their fucking name was based on vagina, for God's sakes.
Yep.
You know? And another thing. The fucking motorcycles those heifers was riding didn't fucking fit. Once again, some of the bikes were the right time period.
Yeah.
No, not with those extended fucking swing arms and shit, that desert bullshit they had them. And you mean to tell me that a bunch of these old fucking women who are only worried about growing and planting seeds and all this bullshit are keeping their bikes in like immaculate condition? Bullshit!
Girls take better care of their toys than guys
Oh, for fuck's sake. Now, let's get to
says the kid yet again, who refuses to take shit out of boxes.
Exactly. You've got damn near all your toys from when you was a kid, man. You got a bunch of that shit left.
I do.
But what I'm saying, you go through the whole fucking film, and let's look at some of the other examples. Max was always the fucking hero. He doesn't get to be the hero in this story. Now, yeah, he helps, but he's not the fucking hero, okay? You have people like Furiosa cutting his ass off a couple of times. Just cutting his ass off, dude. Like, his input does not fucking matter, all right? The other men that appear, you get that fucking nutcase moron, the fuck-up.
Yeah.
Who turns against his own, he's a traitor against Immortan Joe and all them.
Yeah.
Why did the women accept him?
The bullshit love storyline.
Yeah, the bullshit love storyline. I can tell you why they fucking accepted him. Because he was ballless.
Yeah.
He was a complete fucking failure that give up everything that he fucking strove to do, become ballless, and put himself under their fucking command.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, people can argue against it, but that's the way the fucking movie's presented. All right? And at the end, of course, what does he do? He sacrifices himself for this love, which is unfucking requited. Oh, he's dead. Keep moving. Another fucking man that we can just chew up, throw away, because men are fucking useless. And that's really the way it was fucking presented. Okay? We get back to the whole fucking Immortan Joe thing, back to his citadel, which is another fucking idea that's fucking stupid. You get to the end of their fucking trip. Max makes a statement. It'll be 160 days across that desert walking. Do you know how far you could actually walk in 160 fucking days? There is not a desert on this fucking earth that you can't cross in 160 fucking days. That you could goddamn near walk across an ocean in 160 fucking days. You know what I mean?
I've never... Well...
Now, yeah, it's supposed to be a salt flat. I understand that, but you see my point.
Yeah,
All right. So, let's give up the entire mission that he's been fighting for, this whole big quest to get him the fuck away from all this trouble. We're just going to turn around, and we're going to go back home. We're going to go back home, and we're just going to take over. And we're going to take over with the power of love. This is a fucking post-apocalyptic wasteland. You come in with that love bullshit, somebody's going to shoot your ass in the fucking head and then rape your body.
Remember,
and then they're going to eat you.
Remember in the Road Warrior when Humongous came up and took over Bartertown with the power of love?
Exactly, yeah.
By forcing his cock up everyone's butt?
Exactly, yeah. He come up and he just fucking jerked off Wes and everything was fucking beautiful. But look at when they get back to the fucking Citadel.
And Toe Cutter's gang, they all had a circle jerk and everything was okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, everything was fucking fine.
And then Tina Turner,
Kundalini got his fucking hand back because the power of love just grew it right the fuck back.
and then
Yeah.
then Tina Turner sang that song, and everything was fine.
Exactly. The blind jazz man started fucking playing in his diaper and shit, and everything was fucking copacetic.
Funky fucking Dory.
But what I'm saying, they get all the way back to the Citadel. And once again, this is very in-your-fucking-face feminist horse shit. Here were the milk cows. You remember the big bitches that were being forcibly fucking milked? Okay?
Ugh.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they were...
When he took that fucking swig, though, at the beginning of that movie, that breast milk, I was...
Well, fuck it. I could see him drinking it, and that, you drink what you had to.
I guess,
yeah, you would, But what I'm saying, these were fucking literally heifers being milked.
Yeah.
These bitches were owned. I'm sorry. These bitches are owned. Okay? And then mysteriously, just because of Morton Joe is fucking now dead, everybody is fucking fine. His son, for whatever reason, the little midget guy, didn't fucking just like say, lock the fucking gate, people. I'm the one in charge now.
Yeah.
Everybody just gets let into the fucking Citadel. And if you look, those big, fat, sweaty, sweat hog bitches are turning on all the water taps and all the water's flowing out because once again, the Earth Mother gives life to the Earth. Did you not see that?
Oh, I saw it.
That pissed me the fuck off. It does not fit that fucking timeline. That story, fuck you. Let's go back in time. Okay, let's go back in time to the other movies. Now, we could have strong women in these movies.
We had strong women in those movies.
You goddamn right we did. Max's wife, she was a strong woman.
Her mother, who held the shotgun.
Her aunt.
Her aunt.
Yeah, her aunt that held that shotgun whenever the toe cutter and all them were coming. And, she fired on them just as they got up to her. She knew she was going to fucking die.
Yeah.
That was a strong woman, even though she was crippled, and all that shit. You had that. You had the warrior woman from the Road Warrior.
Yeah.
That bitch was badass.
You also had the woman over Bartertown as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You had Auntie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about it, dude. She was a tough bitch. The way I look at her, some of the guys like fucking Iron Bar, she was probably one of the berserkers.
Yeah.
She was probably part of a gang or something. Iron Bar was probably one of the guys she knew. All those people, they started that fucking town to trade, and they were the last of that breed. Those fighters, She was a tough bitch. We already have it established that there is strong women.
Yeah.
We don't need this over-the-top bullshit in this new movie.
To me, if they would have just left it without the, I guess the Earth Mother cult thing,
mm-hmm.
and just had Furiosa,
mm-hmm.
and
yeah, why couldn't it have been a movie just about Furiosa?
Well, it could have been the same fucking movie.
Yeah,
with Max and Furiosa,
or just maybe showing her how that she become the what do they call her, the Imperator?
Yeah.
Yeah, how she become like Immortan Joe's top warrior, know.
But it could have been, her betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
And the same fucking romp through the desert
mm-hmm.
and back.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't have that Earth Mother horse shit, like if they would have stopped there, and instead of finding like a whole group of these women, only finding the one with the bag left.
Yeah.
And
yeah, she could have been like the random hermit in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they could have found like this little hut or whatever.
Or she could even go back like there, where she supposedly goes back to where she came from.
Which was those fucking swampland or that mud bog.
Which they didn't explain at all.
Which I want to know about those people walking through it on the stilts.
Yeah, they look like the Striders from the fucking Dark Crystal, man. What the... I even said that. You remember?
Yeah. It's like, I didn't know this was Dark Crystal.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? And she doesn't recognize where she come from? She drove right through it, didn't remember it?
Well, it didn't look like the way that she had...
Yeah, but you see my point.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Now, if she'd have met the random old woman hermit who has lived for years with the idea that someday she wanted to try to help the world, I'm fucking cool with that.
Then they would have gone back, and then everything could have still happened as it was.
Yeah, but do you remember the virulent, how fucking, the reaction that those women had to the men? Do you remember in Furiosa they had to say, oh, they're with us, they're good,
Yeah.
when the guys were getting out of the truck? What kind of militant feminist horseshit is this?
I don't know.
You know? Do you remember the first movies? The first movies were not anti-women. Now, a good example of this is that when you look in the first two films, the very first film.
It wasn't anti-nobody.
Yeah.
First two films were really not anti-anybody.
Do you remember the rape? The rape scene in the first movie?
Yeah.
Both of them got fucking raped.
Yeah.
The boy and the girl.
Yeah.
They got raped equally,
Yeah.
you know? And then the rape scene that Max stops. You remember Wes kills that girl and all that? They were raping, you could say, not just physically, but they were taking their fuel and stealing everything from them. That was equal, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
There
was none of this inequality bullshit on either
really
side.
Painted in the original films a very dog-eat-dog world.
Mm-hmm.
And this new one was more of like, let's show you a cult of personality.
Mm-hmm.
Let's show you
3 cults of personality.
Well, yeah.
Each one of those towns was a cult of personality.
But to me, it had really good action scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Just like very. Let's go down to very fucking basic, cutthroat. Yeah. I'm the audience. This is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, but some of that shit was Michael Bay as fuck.
Oh yeah, it was fucking Michael Bay as fuck. I'm glad they used a lot of practical effects in those movies.
Oh yeah, I am too.
Say, I was the guy that walked in there,
mm-hmm.
no preconception. I had seen the original 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here in the theater to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just in the theater to have a good time, are you gonna have a good time watching this in the theater?
If you're just some mindless action fan, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that, and this is going to sound ridiculous, there was too much fucking action in this movie. Because we got pieces of the plot thrown at us as little fucking quips in between action shots.
And that's what I liked about the original Mad Max films, is it flowed really well, mm-hmm. It had enough plot in it to keep you going,
mm-hmm.
but it was mostly about the fucking struggle and like the action that happened through it. And it kind of carried over with this one as well. It was a lot of show, not tell.
Mm-hmm.
Except for one fucking part.
Hmm.
When Max goes, let me take care of this.
Oh, the bullet farmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes out the bullet farmer, there's an explosion, five seconds later.
He walks off with a kukri knife.
Yeah.
Which, I'll give him this, for Australian, British type people, that kukri knife made total fucking sense.
Yeah.
It fits right into their culture.
But what the fuck happened? Here is like this badass character that comes up eyeless now.
Yeah.
Fucking blinded.
Yeah, the bullet farmer was fucking awesome.
And then, bang, pow, boom.
Big explosion.
Max comes back covered in blood.
Yeah. No explanation what the fuck happened. The idea being that Max took out a fucking tank with a kukri.
Which I would like to see.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to say he couldn't, you know. You know, he's our intrepid hero here, you know, but...
I want to see that.
See, another thing that bugged me, though, I didn't like the fact that they used the fucking ripsaw with a fucking Australian Charger body on it. That just irritated the fuck out of me.
My favorite vehicle...
Once again, let's talk about something that does not fit the time period. The ripsaw is built like after 2000.
My favorite vehicle in that whole movie was the big spiked metal red thing that had the scoop bucket on it.
Yeah.
That was my favorite fucking vehicle in that movie, because as soon as it pulled up next to that 18-wheeler, I looked over here at Gleek and I was like, how do you fucking combat something like that?
Yeah, you'd be damn hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I saw that and I was just like, great idea. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Now, like I said, the action scenes, a lot of them were great. Some of them were too over the fucking top.
I was thoroughly entertained.
I was entertained, but at the same time, I had this large fucking raging butthurt.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah. I was entertained, but well, I'm saying I had this raging butthurt during the whole thing because it just irritated me. I'm tired of having my childhood and other shit step by step by step shit on. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of them taking ideas. They have to Hollywood the fuck out of everything. Dude, as these movies progress, by the time you get to Thunderdome is the weakest of the three movies. Okay? You know, the original three.
Yeah.
Specifically because of the budget they threw to it. All right? Mad Max, very gritty. You know what I mean? A very basic kind of movie.
Very fucking cutthroat.
The Road Warriors, same thing. They had a certain budget, you know. It made those fucking movies. It gave them that grit, you know. They had to film a certain way, and this one, they had so much fucking money. I mean, they didn't even film it in the Broken Hills of Australia. Dude, they filmed this in was it what do they call it? Namibia? In fucking Africa?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What the fuck? You know, supposedly they went to film, and heaven forbid it rained in the Broken Hills of fucking Australia. Well, you know, there's a real simple solution for that. It's called you fucking stop production for 6 months until all the plants die back off. You know, how hard is that?
You can't really do that now with, like, production schedules, or else it'll cost even more money.
Yeah. But
coming back from a very, you know, timetabled out thing, if you do have the budget to do something in a better location, why wouldn't you do it in that better location instead of having to wait, put off more money, making the production studios fucking shell out more shit?
Yes.
I can see why they did not use the Broken Hills of Australia.
Yeah, but to me it's not right. It's completely not fucking right.
They just used fucking desert, and that's all they needed to use. I can see that shit.
Yeah, but if you actually look at the original films and compare it to this new one, the scenery doesn't fit. It doesn't fucking fit, really. The Broken Hills have their own look. Yeah. And look into and how the production company moved away from Broken Hills and kind of put the people of that area into a fucking lurch. Those people in that area were like fucking overjoyed that they were coming back to film. You know, this is backwoods fucking Australia nowhere.
Yeah.
And there's like a restaurant there, dude. This fucking cafe. They've got one of the original cars parked out front. They've got like the goddamnedest collection of fucking memorabilia you've ever seen in your life. These people were ecstatic that they're going to start filming there again. Nope, fuck you. We're going to Africa to film it. Sorry. You know.
You have to make choices sometimes for that.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the practicality of it for that.
I don't know. I think I think they could have done better by holding to the original idea. And I think a lot of shows and things need to do this. Go to the fans. Let's find out what the true fan feels about this. I guarantee you, if Lucas had went to the true fans of Star Wars and asked them what it was supposed to be, do you think it would have been the Phantom Menace? No, it would not. And what did I say walking out? I meant it. This movie, Mad Max Fury Road, is the biggest disappointment since the Phantom.
My son!
It was the biggest disappointment since the Phantom Menace. And I remember I was griping. I was bitching. Yes, I was hot and bitching coming out of that theater.
Yeah, you didn't even come over later on that night.
Mm-mm.
No.
No, because I had to sit and just stew and my butt hurt.
Yeah, you were like, I was like, all right, dude, I'll see you later. And you're like, all right, man, see you later.
Yeah. I was disgusted.
You and Schmiegel, like, they all went back to the house and I could see that you're fuming.
Yeah, which is something else. That's another thing. He went to see it, you know. I took my nephew. And he's, 11-year-old now?
Yeah.
He didn't like it. He really did. Dude, that boy, he loves the series. I showed him to him a long time ago. He fucking gets it.
Yeah. He
didn't think that this movie matched up at all. And he really thought that there was too much fucking explosion bullshit, too much action, not enough plot.
Well,
And now he thought some of it was cool. Some of the actual combat scenes are kind of great. But the scenes and he even brought it up to me, he thought it was kind of ridiculous, where these guys are supposed to be spitting nitromethane directly into the intakes of the fucking car going down the road.
Well, they're berserkers.
It doesn't matter. Shit doesn't work like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If this shit actually worked, wouldn't drag racers be just spraying pure nitromethane down the goddamn intakes that way? They don't do that, And I understand they're berserkers, but that was some over-the-top, ridiculous horse shit.
Yeah. I remember coming out of the theater, and I guess I was feeding off of your fury.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to, rationalize shit that happened with the movie, and I'm trying to make excuses for it. And where you just sit and stewed on it,
mm-hmm.
I came back here and was like, it's not horrible. At least to me. It wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
It was a good watch. I wasn't bored. I was a little confused.
Oh, yeah.
With, the scene with the mother. It's like, the entire time I was like, what?
Yeah, what the hell's going on with this crap?
What? And then, when they turned around and went back, I was like, oh, it's just going to be, the final big chase scene. And, it threw me for a curveball. Because I really thought they were going to prepare for this huge trek across this desert to find something.
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to be, that last, little stretch. You already had your fucking climax and shit.
Yeah, well, look at all the other movies. Well, at least the other two. You had, the entire encampment and their trip to the north. You remember?
Yeah.
Where they become the Great Northern Tribe.
Yeah.
And then you had the escape of the fucking, the kids in the airplane. You remember where they went off to Sydney or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, you expected something like that, which represents a transcendence of, you know what I mean? They become something better. They rose out of the ashes of all this shit.
Yeah.
And being good people, they rose up and become something better.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that this is not what this movie give me. No. And they hint at it by saying they returned and they made the Citadel a great place and bullshit.
Covered in skulls and sex hot tubs.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, let's go back and let's say a little bit after this story, they come in and take over Morton Joe's shit. How long would it be until the fucking Gastown and the fucking Bullet Farmer community show up and say, look, motherfuckers, give us the food and water?
Do
you think the military-industrial complex is going to put up with a bunch of hippie, fucking everybody's peaceful and happy now bullshit?
All three of their leaders are dead.
It doesn't matter. The people. You know what I'm saying?
Did the other two have people outside of warriors? Because they don't show that.
Yeah, they don't explain nothing about their actual society.
Because I'm thinking all the people and shit live around Morton Joe, the Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's where the main populace is. And the Gastown, the Bullet Farmers, are just strictly those two things. I don't think they actually have their own populace outside of warriors and workers.
Well, makes you wonder, though.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's just a whole lot of... even those societies bring up a whole lot of fucking questions. Because a Gastown in that fucking world, okay, do you know the kind of security they'd have to have?
They would be attacked constantly.
Constantly. And that's why I'm sure they had a deal with the Bullet Farmers. Once again, same thing with the Bullet Farmers. They've got to have transport. They've got to have equipment. I don't know. It's the whole thing. Where in the fuck was the Bullet Farmers getting all the nitrate and shit they needed to make the fucking gunpowder? Where in the fuck were they getting the lead and shit?
This looks like it all will be fleshed out in some expanded universe, comic book, video game, horse shit.
Yeah.
So
there's another one. Speaking of comic books, okay? What the fuck was with the goddamn flashback of the little girl?
I didn't read the comics, I don't know.
Well, see, that's the thing. The comics, I don't think, have been issued yet.
No, the comics came out before.
Okay,
No
yeah.
one, like, somehow it flew underneath everyone's radar.
Yeah, well, it's something to do about the girl that keeps appearing, the one that's like, you failed me, and all this bullshit. At first, I was thinking, like, is that supposed to be his fucking kid? And I'm like, no, Max had a fucking son.
And died when it was a baby.
Yeah, and then I even thought, is this supposed to be his wife? And he sees her as a pure spirit, a child. Yeah. And no, it doesn't fit, you know. And then this is supposed to be some comic about some girl that he failed to save or some bullshit. How about some goddamn explanation of what the fuck that was about?
Well, you see here, Gleek, you have to go back and read things.
I've read plenty.
Fucking matter. And you remember that part in the Star Wars trilogy where they go back and they explain who the guy was with the toilet paper on his head? Of course you don't. Yeah. That's in a fucking book.
I know, but my point being is that you're making this film. Most of the people going to be going to see this film probably haven't watched the originals. Okay? There's no explanation, really. There was the bullshit explanation that Max gave in the beginning, which Max did too much fucking talking. Yeah, when he wasn't grunting. Yeah, he grunted through most of the fucking film. Yeah, here's another one. How come fucking Bane has to appear wearing the goddamn mask again? He spent, what, the first third of the
I heard that you didn't like my latest.
No.
No?
No, I didn't. No.
But what about the parts?
No, fuck you, Bane. Fuck you. Fuck you, Bane.
Well, what about the part when I said that they do not need to be a slave to water?
Fuck you, Bane. You know, though, I'm talking about that fucking thing he had on his face. You know, which looked like a goddamn garden trowel that had been fucking clamped to his... With
fucking human teeth on it.
Yeah.
And then it had, like, the bellows. I thought that was a cool costume piece, personally.
Well, yeah, but you know that they only threw that on his face. Because that actor played fucking Bane.
Was that actor Bane?
Yeah. I swear to God, if I'm wrong...
No, the guy that played Immortan Joe?
No, oh no. The guy that played Immortan Joe
was Toe Cutter.
Yeah, he was the toe cutter in the
Yeah.
old films. I'm talking about the guy that played Max, was fucking Bane.
Oh, you're talking about the metal face mask thing?
Yes, when he's locked to the front of the car. Like, and once again, that's another one, the touchbacks. That was a touchback to the older films. You remember the victims hanging from the front of Humongous's truck?
Yeah.
That's what that was supposed to be, a touchback to that.
Oh, yeah.
But the fucking mask he's wearing, it's
he
goddamn Bane mask.
I don't really see it as a Bane mask. I saw it as more of like a, would they keep people from biting?
Well, yeah, I understand that. He was, at that point, he was supposed to be a blood bag, you know.
Yeah, and he was also what they call a feral, too.
Yeah. But it's ridiculous. That's another one. The touchbacks in a movie are supposed to give you a good warm feeling. For the true fan would pick up on them and just, hey, I remember that. Every touchback in that film made me sad.
Come get sad.
Yes, that's what I felt. Come get sad with me. The fucking girl playing the fucking music box. I was like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You know, there was just so much of that shit. Touchbacks that way. You know? And they didn't fit. They kind of wedged that shit in there, and it just didn't fit in at all. Yeah, we pretty much sit and harped about this shit for about 45 minutes?
Yep, it's been a good 45-minute movie review.
I did mention this before. I tried to do a fucking independent thing for YouTube, and I couldn't do it. And I'm worried that this audio is going to be what I was worried about. I don't want to be the old man saying, you know, get the fuck off my lawn. And that's the way I feel. I really feel that way.
But if that's your honest opinion coming from, like, you know, the diehard fan of this, maybe that's what needs to get out there. It's like a diehard fan review.
And well, that's the thing is that from everything I've seen on the internet, very few people fucking agree. Yeah. Most people are just jerking off. Oh, action, explosions. A car exploding 5 fucking times in a sandstorm for no fucking reason. That car exploded 5 fucking times.
That's when I was like, oh, bullshit sandstorm scene. Hey, I'll take a leak.
Yeah. Yeah, you got up and went take a piss during the sandstorm.
Because I knew it was going to be a relatively short part. No, there's not really anything that was going to happen during there. And I came back right at the perfect time. The sandstorm was over and he pulled himself out of the sand.
Yeah, which, I will say this. I will give him this. Max pulling himself out of the sand was a nice point. Because what does it show? Max pulls himself out of the verge of death at every step. You can't kill him.
Yeah.
You know, it's literally him climbing back out of the grave to keep going. But yeah, I guess we need to close this up.
This has been another fine Picklestick production of the Generation Gap podcast. As always, I've been Lunchbox.
I'm Gleek.
And we'll catch you next time.
Have fun, folks.
You can reach the Generation Gap podcast on our Twitter page at PicklestickPod or shooting us an email at picklestickproductions@gmail.com.
You can also find us on Stitcher.